There's a really weird peace and like, level of contentment that comes with getting fucked up in the gym. As weird as it may sound, that is interestingly, I find that there's two types of getting fucked up. About a month or two ago now, when I first really got into MMA, I remember sparring with a friend at the gym, and he's been doing stand up for a while, much longer than me. I'm like 2, 3 months in now. He's 2, 3 years, and you can see it. Fluid striker, fluid mover. Everything's timing. Nothing's forced. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch him fight. And there was one there was one day where he absolutely put me through the ringer. My nose was fucked. My eye was fucked. I could barely see. I could barely breathe. Yeah, he put it on me. He put it on me, and I'll be real, like it was brutal. It was brutal, and it was tough to take. Like as a man, like that shit's tough to take. There's there's that getting fucked up, and then there's getting fucked up like today, sparring with, funnily enough, the same person. And whilst you still get fucked up, you hold your own. You land one, maybe two shots, in a short round. Um, so one leaves you content, and one either breaks you. Some people do get broken, and when you go to a gym long enough, you start to see people. It's like a revolving door. You see people. It's the same with BJJ as well. Like you see people come in first day, and they'll either get a glint in their eyes where they're just hungry, burning, absolutely burning to be able to do what people have just done to them, and some people just break, and some people just break. Um, yeah, today was thankfully one that left me fairly content because after that experience a month or so ago, that I well like going back to that experience, that was I fucking like in hindsight I loved it. In the moment I was whew, I was fuming. I was well not fuming in a negative way, but like I was burning. I had that burning desire similar to what I experienced when I first started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I had that burning desire to be able to do that to somebody and to be able to stand with somebody like him and go toe to toe. In the same way that I had that desire when years and years ago when I first got introduced to grappling. Um, and yeah, today was a nice one. I haven't been training in a few weeks, so I was really looking forward to. I wasn't looking forward to getting back in there. It's always weird. Like even even somebody who as confident as I am, like, and I feel like this is a very misunderstood element of the gym as well. I was actually talking to a friend of mine at the gym yesterday about it, and I was talking to her about the anxiety that you experience before going to the gym pretty much every day. Like, as somebody who goes to the gym every day, you still get that. Like, it gets numbed, and you get very numb to it after a while. It's a really easy thing to get rid of. Not get rid of, but it's a really easy thing to acclimatize to. But it's there, and it's there even more when it comes to going to a fight at a martial arts gym, in my experience anyway. And when you take a week off, or two, in my case three, that it's there and it rears its ugly head. It stares you right in the eyes and asks you how big your fucking balls are. Which is always nice. Like it's always that element of taking some time off. I'll be honest that it does make that first session back that little bit more satisfying. And going back to my point about the two different types of getting fucked up, or three really, one being breaking, one being leaving you burning to never let that happen to you again and learn how to do that, and the other leaving you fairly content. Um, yeah, as I said today, it was a content one. It was nice to as jittery and as tense as I was. It was nice to stand with somebody who I admire and just take it, like just take it, because anybody who's done any stand up, again, I'm a novice, so I'm not trying to speak as any sort of pro. From my limited experience, anybody who's done some sort of stand up will understand what I'm talking about when, like, initially, unless you've done it since you're a kid, initially there is a big fear of getting hit and you back up a lot and you almost try and get away from the fire. And that gets you hit even more and even worse. Whereas sometimes just staying in there, biting down on your gum shield, keep like moving around and staying in the pocket and trying to find some openings, like in a weird way, like you take far less damage. Because obviously the hardest part of your skull being like your forehead and the top of it, the cranium, I think it may be called. Like, as as horrible as it is to get hit in any capacity, you'd much rather get a hit on your forehead and on your cranium with your chin down, tucked nice and tight, arms up high, than fucking be backing up and getting clipped round the chin and shit like that. So yeah, it was a good day. You'll begrudgingly see some clips of me getting pieced and looking very stiff and and very new, which I am, and I have to embrace that. It was also nice to get back on the mats and get some grappling rounds in again. It's always weird after taking a few weeks off because as comfortable as I am in that world, it's yeah, like with anything, man. You take some time off and going back it's always a reunion in some capacity. My body felt quite good though, even after today's gym session. I really, I went to the gym knowing that I really wanted to put some work in, um, to see what my body could handle really and see how I would feel, um, later on at training. Um, and I made sure, and I wanted to do something pretty cognitive as well. So I did some hang cleans today, and I got a PR, which was pretty cool. Um, I hit 90 today, just about. Like, I wasn't too pleased with the form, but one of the reps I'll give myself. Um, and prior to today, my most impressive power clean was a measly 60 kilos. So I was quite happy about that. But it did leave me, like, it's no joke when Olympic lifters talk about the cognitive load of Olympic lifting, because of the amount of cues you have to focus on relative to, not that the hang clean is an Olympic lift per se, it's just an accessory, but you know what I mean. Yeah, when you hear lifters talk about the cognitive load of Olympic lifting, like, that shit is real, man. I was like just drained after that session. It was early, which is unusual for me as well. I got to the gym late morning, which is very unusual for me. But yeah, man, I was taxed. And it wasn't necessarily physically. Like, my erectors were lit up, and that felt amazing. It'd been a while since I'd done something that had really lit up my spinal erectors, and that felt great, because they are something that I really want to build. Like, whenever you go to the gym and you see somebody deadlifting, and it looks like their form is terrible because their erectors are just bulging out of their back, like, that aesthetically to me just screams security, and it screams I'm going to be alright when I'm old, and I fucking admire that shit, man. So building my erectors is definitely high on my agenda. And today I had very little discomfort, which also allowed me to push hard. And along with knowing that I wanted to go to the gym and tax myself or stress myself cognitively, I also knew that I wanted to work hard. I wanted to push myself in something so that going to training tonight felt easier. And that definitely worked, because in hindsight now, because I was quite busy prior to training, I didn't actually really experience that, oh, I haven't been there in a few weeks anxiety. I kind of just was there and was like, oh shit, I'm here now. Let's go, kind of thing, which was quite cool. But yeah, that's one thing I could say to anybody new to any form of training, where they have to go into a new environment, i.e. a gym or a dojo, whatever you want to call it. don't. I see a lot of people online just to ask other people, not me. Ask like, how do you get rid of that anxiety before going to the gym or even before a lift? Like, because I experienced it the other day with, what was I lifting? The squat failure. I experienced the anxiety, the nerves, like the pressure. And a lot of people ask, how do you get rid of that? You don't. That's part of the game, bro. That is part of it. That's part of the challenge. That is part of the workout. That is the first push in your exercise. Embrace that. Enjoy that. Love that. And I'll see you tomorrow.